right, guys, welcome back once again to the Intel Extreme Masters Global Challenge New York City. We are at Comic-Con. It's actually press day here at Comic-Con, which is why the crowds are not looking as beefy as I'm sure they will over the next couple of days.
I already wrote on Twitter, man. I can't wait to cast for Batman and Spider-Man. How cool would it be if you have like 20 Batmans in your crowd?
Dude, when we were walking through the venue earlier today, a guy walked by wearing a Superman costume with a Spider-Man jacket.
How did it look?
It looks like this is the only place in the world where a Starcraft player can make fun of people for being nerdy.
Nice. I like it.
So, it was pretty epic, dude.
All right, guys. The next game that we are actually going to broadcast for you guys is it's going to be Killer versus Killer.
Oh, God.
And yeah, we've been looking forward to that. I do think it would make a lot of sense if we call the TSLKiller Songho now and then, perhaps not all the time, because then it's confusing as well for people who just tune in and they see Killer, who the hell is Songho? So we're going to try to call him Songho now and then, and obviously we will mention the clan text, DKiller, Dignitas Killer, and TSLKiller.
Dat Killer.
Dat Killer. Well, if he wins this one as well, then he's 2-0 in the group, then you can really say Dat Killer.
You know, he showed some really good ZVP at Gamescom, taking a game off of MC and looking really decisive.
It was a really close series as well.
It was a extremely close series. I don't know, man. I wasn't really expecting Killer to come out and beat Show, so I don't know what to think going into this. If he wins here, he's basically primed to get through his group, and would not have been my prediction. How about maybe invite me, dudes?
I love it. Now that I'm a bidder as well, now I finally get the invite first to the game. Even though in all the other tournaments, Ben always gets the invite first, but now I'm a bidder as well.
Kevin doesn't have a North American account, so he's using my second North American account. So my Smurf is actually Mr. Bidder. So.
But that's so good that people will think it's not you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let the players know that we are ready when they are. This is, of course, the second round of groups, second round of games in this group, which is once again Group B. And maybe we can switch over to my screen like really quick and give you guys a small update. I'm going to try to make that, well, no brackets yet, it's group. But yeah, guys, once again, we have 4 groups and 2 players will advance to every group. Then we're going to have a top 8. Everyone who is at this tournament will have a guaranteed prize pool of $600. So even just for showing up, why you look so confused, man, there's
trying to figure out who this last guy is.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Let me just try to open up the groups. So yeah, even if you lose every single game here at the Intel Extreme Masters event, you still go home with $600. And I already realized you can have a lot of fun with $600 in the US, man.
Yeah, man.
You can buy a lot of ribs.
It's a big party here.
You can buy a lot of ribs. I'm a bit disappointed by my ribs yesterday, man.
You know what? You talked up those TGI Fridays ribs like they were the best thing in the world.
They are supposed to be the best thing in the world, bro. So yeah, I've been hyping. Why doesn't my group doesn't work? We still have some internet issues, apparently.
You have to enable plugins on your browser. You've got the NoScript add-on going there. And actually, I'm going to step away from the PC for just 2 seconds to figure out why we have a million obs in here. So I'm going to go find an admin.
No, that's part. Actually, they are supposed to be here.
I thought we had English and Russian casters.
Okay, so I'm going to ask one of our admins, but I think, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe we should just remove them.
I'm just going to take 2 seconds. So, guys, I'll be right back.
No, you shouldn't do that. You can never just stand up like that, man.
We have 20 people in the game right now.
No, we don't have 20 people. Everybody besides Good Game Dadaru. I think that is fine.
Works for me, bro. Kevin, dropping the band hammer.
Oh, apparently we're still 1-1, man. We count both as one person. Forgot to remove the overlay. Just when I said I was starting to get better at the scoreboard, I screwed it up. Damn it. So guys, the first map is Metalopolis. I will ask for the second and third map. Yeah, normally, obviously, the better on the 2.0 system, as soon as people actually start to figure out what the chat channel is, everyone joins the channel and wants to join the games as well. And this time we're not using the most encrypted channel, to say the least. Normally we have a lot of strange symbols, and this time it's relatively easy. Anyway, man, it seems like the game is live. We are not sure yet about the second and third map. As soon as we do know it, I will let you guys know. But I look forward to this one. A very, very important game already for TSLKiller.
Hugely important game here. TSLKiller down 1 set because he lost to Atero, which, you know what? Atero said, like when I talked to Atero, he's like, I'm going to win this tournament. I was like, really? Not really expecting that to be the case, but in fact, he came out and showed some good games, and he's now up 1-0 in his group. So TSLKiller was the guy that lost to him, and that means that TSLKiller has to win here if he wants to keep his hopes alive in the group. It's really really hard to lose your first 2 sets and then advance. We saw Idra do it in China.
Yeah, it's possible with only 4 people in the group, but it's very, very tough. And unfortunately, and Ben, you know how quick things go. If Killer would once again, kind of makes like a very unimpressed performance on this event, people will suddenly say straight away like, "What's up with Killer? Why is he always choking at foreign events? Like always, as in 2 events on the row." But yeah, you know how quick those things start off, and this is a very, very important game for Killer because once again he was at the Intel Extreme Masters in Gamescom. That's an interesting pylon placement. But
Forge expand on Metalopolis, but I don't think it really covers his ramp. Like there's that, he can't wall his ramp like that.
No, but he probably has an idea. Yeah, it's a very strange pylon placement. I'm gonna agree 100%. But you know how these pros players are, man. They're all a little architect inside. They all love SimCity, and eventually it all makes sense. And I stopped trying to be confused from their pylon placements.
Yeah, same here. So anyway, so we'll see exactly what this guy has in store for us here. We've got gas first here for Dignitas Killer, so it looks like he wants to make a speedling opening. Really, really curious to see if it's going to be a gateway or a forge for TSLKiller. It's almost certainly going to be a forge, right?
Yeah, it has to be a forge. I think Nexus first is really, really
Nexus
ballsy
first,
on
gets
Metalopolis.
A speed opening. Oh my god!
And then he pulls it off.
Yeah.
And we will never ever say again that TSLKiller chokes at foreign events.
Breaking the metagame.
Yeah, actually, talking about metagame, it was quite an interesting series between TSLKiller and Altero. I managed to watch the first 2 games. The 3rd game I unfortunately had to move. And it is actually Nexus first over here on Metalopolis as well. That's insane. The forge is still quite quick though. He's going to build a forge over here. But it's still a hole over here. I guess he's going to fill it up with a Zealot later on. Or
he's not going to have time, man. The spawning pool's done. Speed's going to start right away. Killer's going to scout this, and his eyes are just going to grow to be the size of
Killer
ping
didn't
pong
even
balls.
scout yet.
I really don't think it's going to matter, man. I can't think of a world where
he would make more than 4 Zerglings. Why would he do that?
He's going to make 4 lings, and he's going to cross the map, and he's going to see this, and he's just going to make his next injection is going to be all lings.
Yeah, but by the time that injection arrives, I guess
there'll be a cannon, but he won't have a unit forever.
I don't know,
He'll have to block with probes.
I think if Killer would have scouted it, then it would have actually been a lot more scary right now. Because now, as we can see, it's probably going to be drones, which all could have been potentially links if he would have scouted the build order over here from TSLKiller. On the other end, Ben, I can really not imagine that TSLKiller has never been in a situation like where he would face a lot of links early on. With this build order, and he's still choosing to do it on such a great, such an important stage.
Much of a gamble. The fact that Dignitas Killer didn't drone scout, you're right, is going to hurt him a bit here. But I still think he can just make that first injection all ling and be fine. Look at this. Killer's like, oh, darn, cannon's done, Nexus is done.
Are you sure that you can actually pass by here?
No, actually, I'm not completely sure.
I guess you're not, and then it's actually a really solid build order over here from Killer.
Yeah, it's a pretty nasty wall if you can't get through that gap.
I don't think you can. So I think then it all makes sense. And once again, that's why it stopped being confused by pylon placements. All these pro players have their own little creations.
Yeah, he's probably spent 20 hours on working on this building placement.
Yeah, he's like these European noobs. Don't even get it. Oh, well, American in your case.
Yeah.
So we have a pro scout going on from Killer in the main base. He tried to hide that pro for quite a while, but there wasn't all that much to see. He did see the second queen pop out. He did not get the confirmation that the hatchery is there, but it's very, very likely that it is there, and he will probably just assume so. And I can't blame him for that.
And Killer actually hasn't made a single Zergling. He's just droning, so he's going to... the Zerg Killer hasn't made a single additional ling. He's just adding lots and lots of drones. So he's just going to play this game from behind, basically. And let's emphasize just how behind he is. 24 drones to 28 probes. That is not a position you want to be in as a Zerg player.
That is true, but within a matter of seconds, he's going to be at 32 probes though. So then he's finally going to overtake Killer in the count. I do agree with you, obviously. It's normal that the Pros is ahead the first, well, let's say 3 to 4 minutes in the game worker-wise, but then Zerg is supposed to take over. And now TSLKiller really had an awesome head start.
Zerg's not going to take over for a while, man. I think it'll be 40 probes before Zerg really passes.
No, that's not true. He's going to pass him right now.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, Ben. Let's see it. I'm going to keep the income tab open right now. We have 30 probes, 35. He just took him over.
Okay.
Doesn't matter, Ben. Larva inject is pretty good.
Now it's 36 to 35, so... I mean, you're right. Obviously, Zerg's going to get ahead here, but this is a really nice position for Protoss. Stargate is actually the next move for TSLKiller, which is an interesting choice in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he's going to do with it. expecting actually Phoenixes.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised if he wants to commit to Void Rays, those also expensive Void Rays cross map. But other than that, you never know. But it is going to be a Phoenix at first. We might see a Void Ray trying to delay that third a bit, since he did scout the speedling opening, so he's probably aware of the fact that that third base is going to be a little bit later than usual.
43 drones to 41 probes, so we are finally starting to see a bit of a separation there in that economy. It is a Phoenix opening. We've been discussing this a little bit, Kev, that we think Phoenixes are really quite good in this matchup.
And the reason why is just this moment right now. If you look at TSLKiller's vision, there's just nothing he can see, and every single unit that he will send out will die against speedlings, unless you go for a certain gateway push, which we've been seeing quite a bit on IPL. And I really love the idea of those gateway pushes with Zealot only just trying to delay a third base or try to get some map control, try to kill a few drones. On the other end, I feel that's just like a temporary thing until Zerg's going to figure it out. Okay, let's scout it. You're making Zealots. Okay, I'm going to have a group of links, and then Zealots are not going to do anything. So having this Phoenix on the map gives you so much more. Finally allows you to see what is really going on. And obviously you might force a few Spore Crawlers here and there. You might be able to snipe off an Overlord here and there, lift up a few drones. I think it's solid, man.
Yeah, I think a Phoenix in the long run is always going to pay for himself because it gives map control, it gives scouting. And it's you know, you might not, it's not like a Phoenix is going to kill 10,000 resources worth of stuff, but he's always going to be able to lift up a drone or two here or there. You might even catch a queen out of position. You're always going to usher these overlords off the map. So I mean, they will pay for themselves eventually, and we can see it's already starting to happen here. There's Killer being a little bit supply blocked by that by losing that overlord. Looks like Dignitas Killer is going to play Infesterling, which he played that against MC to great success. So we'll see if it's able to work out here. Just throwing in a couple Spore Crawlers to make these Phoenixes less effective.
I think Killer is quite pleased with that though, because Killer once again has an awesome economy since he went Nexus first over here on Metalopolis, and he's thrown down a double Robo, which is something I can completely understand. He just wants to get as many Colossus out as soon as possible. Excuse me. He's getting that robotics right now as well, researching thermal lens straight away. So it just makes a lot of sense what he's doing. And yeah, if I were him right now and I saw how late that third hatchery was for Zerg, I'd be like, well, that's a pretty solid start, man.
Yep, pushing out. He's going to secure this area up above the third base. This is just the perfect game for TSLKiller. He's been able to take he got the fast expand completely uncontested. And I mean, look at the probes, man. 59 probes to 60 drones. I mean, it's just really, really ridiculous when you get Nexus first against a speedling opening. That the Zerg's ability to just power drone and get ahead basically negated. Larva Inject is awesome, but when the Nexus is up that much faster, it's not that awesome.
No, certainly not. Because he did make quite a few units here and there as well. He's actually going to Hive now already. That surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, he's going to go up to Ultras really fast.
He's going for Ultras.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him do that quite a bit actually. It's funny that Killer is one of those Zergs. He made Ultras against Show as well. We see a lonely Phoenix over here lifting up one Infestor. It took a while before the second Phoenix arrived. He's probably going to need at least one more Graviton Beam, but then he will be able to take out an Infestor with 100 energy, so that is a nice victory. He's going to try to bust through over here. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out though. Oh, nice Infested
It's going to
Terrans.
work really well with these Infested Terrans. They have a ton of DPS, and it's going to be, ooh, a Colossus is there, so that'll help, but really, these Infested Terrans are going to be tearing stuff down pretty fast. This is going to be really, oh gosh, the Colossus, just so good here.
I'm not sure what TSLKiller is doing over here, lifting up two Infested at once, unless he just wants to stall time, but it doesn't really seem like he wants to do that. So that was quite a big of a minor mistake, I'd say. Not a big mistake, but minor mistake. He could have potentially killed one Infestor, and obviously Infestor is quite an expensive unit, so it's always nice to snipe one off. Killer, Dignitas Killer right there, using a lot of energy, trying to break the front over here. He did take out the cannon, but that is pretty much it. So I'd say it's a very, very successful defense for Sungho.
Absolutely, man. Our Protoss player looking to be in great shape. We always say that a 3-base Protoss is a scary thing to deal with, and here we have a Protoss player that's been able to get a fast expand uncontested, and now he's basically taking an uncontested third base. So things are going to get really, really tough for Dignitas Killer. To his credit, though, that Ultralisk Cavern is coming up. He's doing a good job of upgrading. He's going to have 2-2 very soon. Upgraded Ultras are no joke, but really, when you have 5 Colossi, 7 Colossi, 9 Colossi, it doesn't matter because stuff just dies so fast.
I really like it as well by Killer. I'm not sure if he scouted the Ultralisk Cavern, but I think he did. Let me just double check that. Yes, he did scout it, and instantly he started to produce Immortals, having 2 Immortals on the way right now as well. It's so nice to have double Robo against an Immortal build. He's going to have a few Immortals, and obviously Immortals were already really good against Ultras in the previous patch. Now with the new range, they're even better. So I think Killer is once again in a really solid position, and I just don't really see where Dignitas Killer is going to be able to get into a position where he's actually going to have like a fight that favors him. Like I just don't see
There's
it.
so little that he can do right now. Like for Dignitas Killer to win this game, TSLKiller would just have to never attack because he's got just complete and utter map control right now, controlling the center of the map, taking the gold base. The supply lead in favor of Protoss, which we all know that there's very few Zerg armies that can trade effectively with an even supply Protoss army, and all of them have broodlords.
Yes.
And as we can see,
I was
it's
about
not
to
an
think
option.
I was like, well, I know those Broodlord armies, but yeah, that's definitely not an option when we don't even have a Spire on the field. We have 5 Colossus right now, I believe. Let's take a look at the unit counter tab. Yes, you have 5 Colossus, 3 Immortals, 8 Stalkers, 3 Zealots, 2 Sentries, 2 Phoenix, and all in all a very well balanced Protoss army over here. It's going to weapon 7 more additional Stalkers, and this is just going to be one hell of a beastie army. Killer is aware of the fact that
TSLKiller is quite good, man.
Dignitas Killer is aware of the fact that TSLKiller is trying to take that gold bait, but it's just not really all that much he can do about it.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do about it. Zerg is going to try to max out and then get a good exchange. Now, Ultralisks are good, and with good fungals, I mean, if he gets a really great engagement, catches those Colossi all clumped up, is able to just kill them all, then maybe. But there's 5 Immortals out now, Kev.
Yeah. And Metalopolis ain't really tall the Rim Alter either. It's really hard for all those Ultras at once to actually get a really good fighting position against an army like this. Like, do you really want to walk up this ramp with all of your Ultras? It seemed like Dignitas Killer was thinking about it.
That's a really scary fight. Now, one thing that Killer has done well is he's zoned out the army. He's going to get these Lings up into the main base, but look how fast everything dies. Immortal, Colossus, Phoenix, Stalker. I mean, it's just, it really sucks to be Dignitas Killer right now.
Oh my god, losing those Infestors with 200 energy, one more going down with 170 energy, or anything close to that. TSLKiller is still maxed out, while Dignitas Killer right now is trying to remax on Zerglings. He's making 72 Zerglings at once, but is it really going to matter against an army with 5 Colossus?
He's going to try to get a decent engagement here, but just look how fast this Zerg army melts away. This looks like the PVZ that we were seeing 6 months ago, where it's just like, what can I throw at this army to kill it? Well, there's nothing you can throw at this army to kill it. The mistake that Dignitas Killer made, though, wasn't in his army composition. It was in the fact that he allowed the economy of Protoss to just take off so completely unimpeded. Yep. So, excellent play here by TSLKiller, and he's going to take this first game in a really convincing fashion.
Yes, indeed. He's moving forward right now. The Observer is actually taking a lot of damage and will fall down to the Spore Crawler, but doesn't really matter. Obviously, now Dignitas Killer is still around 140 supply though, and he's making 6 Ultras at once, but they will never come in time. We still don't have a Spire, and yeah, Dignitas Killer knows that it's over, man.
Sangho.
Sangho taking the first map. I agree with everything you just said before. Dignitas Killer did say GG. There was one more thing which I want to point out, but I wasn't able to because I tried to talk the game through the end, which you're pulling White Rats on me today. Have you ever seen White Rat casting on the Home Story Cup?
Yeah, but I don't recall it.
It was so awesome because they were casting this PvP, and like both Todd and Dennis tried to make this game sound really exciting. And then White Rat was talking, and he's like, "Yeah, if Zealot come on wall, it's game over." And Zealot, "Yep, GG." Like he just like there was like a lot of action going on both players. Like it was really intense for the viewers. White Rat was like, "No, GG." And he refused to say a single word anymore. He's like, "It's game over." And Todd,
oh man, I'm sorry about that. It's always important to bring the hype, but I don't know.
I know when it's over, it's over. But how Widra did it was just awesome. He's like, no, GG, it's over. And it was like literally the first Zealots walking off the ramp, you know. There were so many things that could have still helped. But Widra had a good vision on the game.
White Rod knows, man.
Widra knows. And Widra cares.
White Rod says, and it happens.
He was right after all. It was.
And then White Rod said, "Let there be GG," and it was good.
Dignitas Killer right now asking what is the second map. Well, we were not informed regarding that issue, so we can't help him with that. So guys, we're just gonna have to wait. Maybe now I can finally get my groups up and I can show you guys what I want to show you guys before.
Hey, I want to talk for a second about how awesome the building placement was there by TSLKiller.
Yeah.
Like we were all like, oh, that pylon's not gonna cover anything, but it was absolutely perfectly placed. The forge making a tight wall against the top of that ramp when I really didn't think it'd be able to. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it makes sense. I really like it how a lot of Protoss players keep surprising you with their own little build orders, which you feel like, is that really going to add up? And then eventually they either get a second pile and then everything fits perfectly. Like Hazu is one of those guys as well. If you watch Hazu play against Zerg, he has some really creative build orders as well, which is a lot of fun to watch. I must say my own builders are actually kind of bad. Like I always feel a little bit bad inside when I see these beautiful things
Yeah,
all add up
obviously
in the long
very
run.
well worked out.
Yeah, that was never my strength. Like in Warcraft 3, where we didn't really care about building placement. There were a few matchups where you could say, okay, Warcraft 3 players scale a little bit. Until a certain moment where everybody started to play Blade Master in Orc vs Orc. And Blade Master was invisible and it was really fast. So, and he was really strong, like he was way too strong. So basically when people tried to figure things out, like, okay, you know what I'm going to do in Orc vs Orc. I want to say PvP, because PvP feels so much like Orc vs Orc for me. It's like, you know what I'm going to do in Orc vs Orc? I'm going to shut my base down. So you can't actually enter. And because I sucked so hard at building placement and like building, like having like a decent base, I just never did it. I was like the only orc in the world who not closed his base against Blade Master Res, which is obviously a reason why I suddenly went from awesome in a matchup to not all that awesome anymore. And yeah, it wasn't really all that hard to figure it out, but somehow, Ben, I don't know, it just felt like it's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not an architect.